So this is an orientation lecture about international trade, the paper or subject of semester 6. So in this orientation I will be just explaining what are the changes in the new syllabus in 2025 as compared to 2024 syllabus, and overall the approach, that means how we will approach this subject, international trade. So international trade, first see the content. In the 2024, that is previous year, there were 4 units. Now unit number 1, 2 and 3, only 3 units are there. So one unit, that is the introduction unit, has been removed for 2025 onwards. So just see the content part first. This is the reading updated on D School site on 4 December 24. So the suggested reading is basically for 25. So you can take that first unit as neoclassical trade theories. Neoclassical trade theories will be your first unit. Previous year 2024 में फर्स्ट यूनिट was the introduction. Introduction के यूनिट के अंदर gravity model का concept भी था, and there was some other question as well. So directly now it will start from the Ricardian model. So clubbing all neoclassical theories. I will explain the meaning of that neoclassical theories and what are the various theories included in that neoclassical, that is Ricardian, specific factor model, standard trade model and Heckscher-Ohlin model, and how that neoclassical is different from the new trade theories. So new trade theory is basically unit number 2. So second unit is basically new trade theory. The first unit is the neoclassical. The common thing about all neoclassical trade theory is that they are based upon the assumption of perfect competition. And new trade theory assumes that market is not perfectly competitive. I repeat, the neoclassical theory assume that market is perfectly competitive. So Ricardian model will assume perfect competition, a specific factor model will assume perfect competition, Heckscher-Ohlin model will assume perfect competition, standard trade model will assume perfect competition. So you can see here, first is the Ricardian model, specific factor model, standard trade model, and Heckscher-Ohlin theory, and related to that various concepts, but all concept here will be basically based upon the assumption of perfect competition, which means there must be large number of firms producing the identical product. So if I discuss about trade between two countries, home and foreign country, producing two products, say cloth and food, so market for cloth is perfectly competitive, market for food is also perfectly competitive, which means large number of firms produces identical cloth or large number of firms produces identical food. So if one country is exporter of cloth, in exchange it is importing the food. But when we talk about the new trade theories, they assume that market is imperfectly competitive. So market could be monopolistic. That means the product will be differentiated. तो क्लॉथ इंडस्ट्री इंडिया में डिफरेंशिएटेड हो गई, क्लॉथ इंडस्ट्री यूएस में डिफरेंशिएटेड हो गया. So it is possible that you are exporting the cloth as well as importing the cloth, but it is not the same cloth because products are differentiated. So there can be intra-industry trade along with the inter-industry trade. So when you say inter-industry trade, it is export of cloth in exchange for food. When I say intra-industry trade, it is export of cloth in exchange for import of cloth. So cloth for cloth or food for food. So intra-industry trade will become a new feature of new trade theories. So first unit is all about the neoclassical, second is a new trade theory, and third is trade policy, which will include instruments of the trade policy, political economy of trade policy, and some international agreement related to trade, labor and the environment. So third unit we can say with the various subparts. Mostly we can say find that in terms of the reading, it is a Paul Krugman. So wherever it is written KOM, it is basically Krugman. So Paul Krugman की जो reference book है, it is used in chapter number 3, chapter number 4, chapter number 6, chapter number 5. So chapter number 3, 4, 5 and 6 all. न्यू क्लासिकल का जो कंसेप्ट है बेसिकली वो आपको पॉल क्रुगमैन से रेफर करना, बट वन चैप्टर ऑफ गैंडोल्फो इज आल्सो देयर, द 4 कोर थ्योरम्स, सो दैट इज इंक्लूडेड. And again chapter number 7 Paul Krugman, chapter number 8 Paul Krugman. So you can say chapter number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then 9 Paul Krugman, chapter number 10 Paul Krugman. So you can say chapter number 3 to 10 Paul Krugman से रेफर करना, ठीक है. So the content wise, I repeat, the content wise it is 3 units: new classical trade theories, new trade theories, and the trade policies, and within that there are various parts. Clear? Now the first part is that when we explain the new trade theories, so international trade is all about, in this subject you are studying the theories of international trade, which is broadly divided into two parts. One, old theories. Now those old theories are called as the new classical. So either you can call it the old theory, alternate is the new theory. This old is referred as neoclassical, and the main difference between old and new is that the old assume that market is perfectly competitive, and the new one assume that market is imperfectly competitive. But when I say imperfect competition, it include monopoly, monopolistic as well as oligopoly. So old theories assume that market is perfectly competitive, which means there are large number of sellers producing identical product, constant returns to scale होना है. Old theory will explain only one type of trade, which is called inter-industry trade, cloth for food, food for cloth, and so on. The new trade theory will explain inter-industry along with intra-industry trade, and they will assume that market is imperfectly competitive. So they will talk about, the new theory will talk about internal economies of scale, external economies of scale, how trade arises due to internal economies and external economies. Remember, there are multiple theories of trade you will be studying here, and each trade theory will highlight why trade arises. Like the Ricardian model, it will highlight that trade arises due to difference in labor productivity. That is why the heading of chapter number 3 is labor productivity, Ricardian model. Heckscher-Ohlin model will say that trade arises because different countries have different endowment of resource. They are different in terms of resource. Some countries are labor rich, some countries are capital rich, some products are labor intensive, some products are capital intensive. So trade arises due to difference in the resource. Trade also arises due to difference in the preference. So different theories will highlight why trade arises. So when we explain the old theories in the syllabus part, that is old means the new classical, new classical trade theories, you can call it the old. Mainly we are studying here 4 models or 4 theories. One is a Ricardian model. That Ricardian model is based on the assumption of 2 by 2 by 1 model. It is 2 by 2 by 1 model, which means trade between two countries producing two products by using only one factor of production, that is labor. So here we explain trade between home country and foreign country producing two products, say cheese or wine, by using only one factor of production, that is labor. When we move from the Ricardian model to the next, if you arrange it in terms of the factor of production, then I will say next will be the Heckscher-Ohlin model, and then come the specific factor model. So next will be the HO model, which is based on the assumption of 2 by 2 by 2 model. 2 by 2 by 2 model refers to two countries producing two products, say cloth and food, by using two factor production. One is labor, other is capital. So we start with the one factor production, then we move to the two factor production. So what will be the change if we are discussing two different factor production? So Ricardian model, then we study the Heckscher-Ohlin model. Then you move to a specific factor model. A specific factor model. This will be 2 by 2 by 3 model. 2 by 2 by 3. So trade again between two countries producing two products by using three factor production: labor, land and capital. Now what is the meaning of a specific here? If there are two products, say one product is cloth. So quantity of cloth is a function of labor used in cloth and capital, and quantity of food is a function of labor used in food and land को T से denote किया है. So what you can find that, you find that capital is specific for cloth and land is specific for food. That means capital cannot move from cloth to food, land cannot move from food to cloth, but labor can move from cloth to food. HO model में भी दो factor production है, but both can move from one industry to the other industry. In the Ricardian model, there is only one factor production, but that factor production can move from cloth to the food or cheese to the wine. In the HO model, there are two factors, both can move from one industry to the other industry, but they cannot move from one country to the other country. In the specific factor model, there are again three factor production, but only one can move from one industry to the other industry. The rest two are specific, they are fixed. So how it will impact the trade and how it will impact the distribution of income, that will be the specific model. And the fourth one is a standard trade model. In that standard trade model, we will use relative supply and relative demand curve tool to explain the trade, and that will again use the assumption of HO model. So by using the assumption of HO model, we will explain that standard trade model. So again 2 by 2 by 2 का format standard trade model में होगा, but standard trade model will explain how economic growth will affect terms of trade, what is the meaning of terms of trade, what is the effect of import tariff, export subsidy. So those things will be taken care of in the standard trade model. I repeat, all these four are part of neoclassical. और ये आपका chapter number 3 Ricardian model, chapter number 4 will be basically this, chapter number 5 will be HO model, and chapter number 6 will be standard trade model. So chapter number 3, this is chapter number 4 is specific, chapter number 5 and chapter number 6 is standard trade model from Paul Krugman. तो ये 4 chapters होंगे in the first unit, that is neoclassical trade theories, and then you move from neoclassical to the new trade theory. But in that new trade theory, it will be based upon the assumption of imperfect competition, new external economies of scale, internal economies of scale, what is the meaning of dumping, reciprocal dumping, those things will be explained in the new trade theories. Clear? This will be the first unit, and then after that the third unit will be the trade policies. It will basically deal with the instruments of the trade policy, and some numerical you can expect from this chapter, Ricardian model, comparative cost advantage, and from the instruments of the trade policy. So from 2 chapter basically expect numericals, import quota का या import tariff का या export subsidy का. Clear? So this is the difference between the neoclassical and the new trade theory. So this is unit number 1 and this is unit number 2, and third unit is the trade policy. So you can just refer to that reading again in that context. The first unit will start with the Ricardian model, 2 by 2 by 1, a specific factor model, that will be 2 by 2 by 3, standard trade model, that will be based upon the RS and RD, and Heckscher-Ohlin theory, that will be 2 by 2 by 2 model. So you are referring to chapter number 3 here, chapter number 4 here, chapter number 5 and chapter number 6 in that order. ठीक है? But you can preferably, I think concept के लिए better होगा if you go by chapter number 3 first, then chapter number 5 first, that is HO model, that is Ricardian, then HO, then specific, then standard trade model. In that order will be going on, and supplemented by the reading of Gandalfo, chapter number 4 and 5. Only 4 core theorems you have to explain, like there is a reformulation of the HO model in the form of Heckscher-Ohlin-Van Eyck theorem. What is Revizensky theorem? Already stated in this part. Stokes-Samuelson theorem. So certain theorems and their derivations part. So that is your unit number 1. Second unit is state theories, mainly chapter number 7 is there and chapter number 8, and Fenstrasse chapter number 7, the new reading will be this, offshoring of goods and services, and finally it will be the instrument of the trade policy. One more thing that is important for this year is the format of the end semester exam. So it is already mentioned that there will be 2 sections in your question paper. This is format for end semester exam. First section will have 9 multiple choice question, MCQ, or it could be 1 sentence answers. So short question. So 2 markers, there will be 9 into 2, 18 marks, that will be section A, and then 4 out of 6 question. Optimally, there shall be 2 or 3 sub parts. So each question will be having 18 marks, 18 into 4, 72 marks का section B होना है और 18 मार्क्स का सेक्शन ए होना है. मतलब सेक्शन बी जिसमें क्वेश्चन आप करें लेटर से क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 आउट ऑफ 6. सो इन एनी क्वेश्चन देयर विल बी 2 to 3 पार्ट्स और ये कंबाइन ऑल इट विल बी ऑफ 18 मार्क्स एंड यू हैव टू अटेम्प्ट 4 आउट ऑफ 6. दिस विल बी द फॉर्मेट ऑफ एग्जाम, एंड सेमेस्टर एग्जाम. तो 3 यूनिट्स है, यूनिट का वेटेज रेस्पेक्टिवली जिस फॉर्मेट के अंदर होता है. स्पेसिफिकली वेटेज हैज़ नॉट बीन असाइंड और गिवन एयर. तो जितना कंटेंट होगा उस कंटेंट के अकॉर्डिंगली इफ आई सजेस्ट देन फर्स्ट यूनिट हैज द लार्जेस्ट वेटेज, ऑल 4 न्यू क्लासिकल थियरीज, एंड सेकेंड यूनिट विल बी रिलेटिवली लेस. थर्ड यूनिट विल अगेन बिकम इम्पॉर्टेंट बिकॉज न्यूमेरिकल क्वेश्चन भी है. एंड मेनली वी कैन से दैट देयर आर मेन रीडिंग विच विल कवर द 80% ऑफ द कंटेंट विल बी पॉल क्रूगमैन and few chapters from Gandalfo and Fenstra. ठीक है, तो रेफरेंस बुक में यहाँ रखेंगे. वी आर मेनली रेफरिंग टू क्रूगमैन. सो आई सेड 80% कंटेंट विल बी दिस, few chapters only from Gandalfo and Fenstra. ठीक है, तो दिस इज बेसिकली द ओरिएंटेशन एंड वी स्टार्ट बेसिकली विद द रिकार्डियन मॉडल. ठीक है, तो रिकार्डियन मॉडल की जो क्लास है वहाँ से बिगिन हो रहा है. अगेन आई रिपीट, देयर इज नो फर्स्ट यूनिट, इंट्रोडक्शन वाला यूनिट नहीं है. सो वी बिगिन डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम चैप्टर नंबर 3, दैट इज रिकार्डियन मॉडल. क्लियर? सो इन केस ऑफ एनी क्वेरी रिलेटेड टू द इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड, यू कैन कॉल मी ऑन दिस नंबर. And remember, apart from this international trade, in semester 6 we are offering the other paper like development theory experience, the Indian growth, which is Indian economy, and financial economics, as well as the research methodology paper. Clear? So I will be basically taking the international trade subject. Thank you. Ricardian model of trade is saying that trade arises mainly because of difference in comparative advantage. It is comparative advantage model. Trade arises due to difference in the comparative advantage. So what is the meaning of comparative advantage? How it can be calculated? How it can be measured? So first of all, as I said, it is 2 by 2 by 1 model. So consider that there are 2 countries, home and foreign, producing 2 products, cheese and wine. by using only one factor of production, labor. ठीक है, I'm taking the same example जो क्रूगमैन में एक्सप्लेन है, so that if you are reading it you can relate it. ठीक है, सिंबल वगैरह मैच करते रहेंगे. Two countries producing two products by using only one factor of production. The main idea of the model say that home country will have comparative cost advantage in the production of cheese if opportunity cost of producing cheese in home country is less as compared to foreign country. I repeat, home country will have comparative cost advantage in the production of cheese if opportunity cost of producing cheese is less in the home country as compared to foreign country. So obvious question, how to measure the opportunity cost, and what is the opportunity cost here? What is the opportunity cost of producing cheese? Opportunity cost is always explained in terms of the other commodity that you sacrifice. So there are two products, cheese or wine, that can be produced by using labor. So if an hour of labor has been used to produce cheese, in that same labor hour how many units of wine could have been produced? That will be the opportunity cost of producing cheese. The cost of cheese in terms of sacrifice of wine, the cost of wine in terms of sacrifice of cheese. तो मेन आइडिया बेसिकली कह रहा है कि होम कंट्री विल हैव कंपैरेटिव कॉस्ट एडवांटेज इन प्रोडक्शन ऑफ दैट प्रोडक्ट इन विच अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोड्यूसिंग दैट प्रोडक्ट इज लेस इन दैट कंट्री एज कंपेयर टू द अदर कंट्री. तो फर्स्ट वी विल स्टार्ट बेसिकली विद दैट टाइप ऑफ डिस्क्रिप्शन. So that means you have to calculate the opportunity cost of cheese as well as opportunity cost of wine, and a short numerical is also there and it has been asked also. So I will refer to that numerical part as well. तो होम कंट्री एंड फॉरेन कंट्री के लिए आपको अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट एक्चुअल में कैलकुलेट करना है. अब टू एक्सप्लेन दैट पार्ट जस्ट फोकस ऑन द बेसिक कंटेंट फर्स्ट. व्हाट इज द बेसिक इन्वॉल्व्ड हियर? आई विल टेक केयर ऑफ दैट बेसिक. सपोज वी आर राइट नाउ वी आर नॉट डिस्कसिंग अबाउट ट्रेड, वी आर जस्ट डिस्कसिंग अबाउट वन कंट्री होम. Since it is based upon one factor of production, so what is the factor of production available to home country? Home country will have certain quantity of labor hour available. Suppose home country has 2400 hour of labor available. It is not 1 person, 2 person. It is 1 labor hour, 2 labor hour, and so on. Now question is, in that labor hour, how much quantity of cheese and how much quantity of wine can be produced? What is the production possibility of this country? 2400 hour labor available hai. In that 2400 hour of labor, how much quantity of cheese can be produced? That depends upon what? 2400 hour labor available है इकोनॉमी के पास, तो कितने क्वांटिटी चीज़ की बना सकते हैं? दैट विल डिपेंड अपॉन द प्रोडक्टिविटी ऑफ लेबर, कि एक यूनिट को प्रोड्यूस करने में कितना टाइम लग रहा है, या एक यूनिट को प्रोड्यूस और इन 1 hour यू कैन प्रोड्यूस हाउ मेनी क्वांटिटी. दैट डिपेंड्स अपॉन दैट. So now just see what is written here. I will say ALC. C चीज़ के लिए, प्रोडक्ट के लिए यूज़ कर रहे हैं, L लेबर के लिए यूज़ किया जा रहा है. ALC को पढ़ना यूनिट लेबर रिक्वायरमेंट टू प्रोड्यूस चीज़ इन होम कंट्री. यू राइट कंप्लीट. व्हाट इज ALC? यूनिट labor requirement to produce cheese in home country. Unit labor requirement to produce cheese in home country. Write it properly. Unit labor requirement to produce cheese in home country. Unit labor requirement to produce cheese in home country. Now if I write 4 hour, it means what? I said ALC is unit labor requirement to produce cheese in home country. So it is 4 hour. It means it will take 4 hour to produce 1 unit of cheese in the home country. So with 2400 hour you can produce 600 unit of cheese. तो यहाँ पे जो एक्सेस की कॉर्नर पॉइंट आ जाएगा 600 हो जाएगा. क्लियर? हाउ यू गेट दैट 600? डिवाइडिंग L विथ ALC. ठीक है, ये जो कॉर्नर का पॉइंट होगा इस पे क्या लिख दोगे आप? इट इज L अपॉन ALC. क्लियर है? दिस कॉर्नर इंटरसेप्ट विल बी L अपॉन ALC. जैसे कंज्यूमर थ्योरी में पर्सन का बजट लाइन होता है, ए पर्सन हैज सर्टेन इनकम एंड यू कैन बाई 2 कमोडिटीज, दोनों का प्राइस गिवन है, तो कितनी क्वांटिटी हम ऐसे बाई कर सकते हैं, इनकम डिवाइडेड बाय प्राइस, तो वैसे ये पॉइंट आ गया वो। Similarly write ALW, so what will be ALW, जैसे वो लिखा है वैसे लिख सकते हो। What is this ALW? Unit labor requirement to produce wine in home country. Unit labor requirement to produce wine in home country. Unit labor requirement to produce wine in home country. Unit labor requirement to produce wine in home country. I write it here 6 hours. It means it will take 6 hours to produce 1 unit of wine in the home country. So with 2400 hours you can produce maximum 400. ये नंबर कैलकुलेट कैसे हुआ, लेबर डिवाइडेड बाई ALW. Mark both corner and then connect it with a straight line. Connect with a straight line. And this line will be referred as production possibility frontier, PPF. या production possibility curve कहते हो, but it will be a straight line. I have explained why it is straight line. This line is called production possibility frontier. So what does the production possibility frontier shows? These are the possibilities of production. You can produce maximum 600 unit of cheese or maximum 400 unit of wine or some combination in between. So any point which is on the line or inside is possible. So this is the production possibility frontier. Can you write down the equation of this line? It could be written as, just see, ALC is unit labor requirement. एक यूनिट को प्रोड्यूस करने में कितना टाइम लग रहा है, multiplied by quantity of cheese. So this will become the labor hour used to produce cheese. Similarly, if I multiply ALW with quantity of wine, that will become the labor used to produce wine. And if you add these two, then that must be equal to 2400 or less than 2400. So less than equal to L. You can write down the equation of this line in this form. And can you tell me what is the slope of this line? अगर मैंने ये लाइन ड्रॉ कर रखा है तो स्लोप बता सकते हो? What is slope of this line? सिंपल है, स्लोप निकालने के लिए बेस ज्योमेट्रिकली बताओगे तो परपेंडिकुलर बाय बेस कर लो. परपेंडिकुलर 400, बेस 400 by 600 means 2/3. और अगर स्लोप 2/3 आ रहा है तो कैन इट बी रिटन एज ALC upon ALW? That is also 2/3. So what is slope actually here? नंबर याद नहीं रखना है. Slope is ALC by ALW. Slope is ALC by ALW. And what does slope of this line measures? What is slope of this line? Slope of line is 2/3, which is ALC by ALW, and that will measure opportunity cost of what? Cheese or wine? Opportunity cost of always that good which is written on x-axis. x-axis पे क्या लिखा हुआ है? Cheese है, so it is opportunity cost of cheese. जिस प्रोडक्ट को आप x-axis पे लिख देंगे, अगर मैंने उल्टा कर रखा होता तो उल्टा हो जाता. कंसेप्ट सेम रहेगा. This will be called opportunity cost of cheese. So what is opportunity cost of cheese here? 2/3. Can you interpret that number? I said opportunity cost of cheese in home country is 2/3. It means what? Opportunity cost of cheese in home country is 2/3. It means what? ये नंबर 2/3 हो सकता है, 1/3 हो सकता है, it could be 4, it could be 5. What does that number tell you? नंबर से क्या पता चल रहा है? Opportunity cost of cheese is 2/3. It means to produce 1 extra unit of cheese, we have to sacrifice 2/3 unit of wine. जो स्लोप होगा वही आंसर बोल रहे हैं. To produce 1 extra unit of cheese, we have to sacrifice 2/3 unit of wine. Can you justify it with number? एक एक्स्ट्रा यूनिट चीज बनाने के लिए कितना टाइम चाहिए? To produce 1 extra unit of cheese, you need how many hour? 4 hour. And in that 4 hour, how many unit of wine can be produced? To produce wine, you need 6 hour. So in 4 hour, you can produce only 2/3. Clear? So whenever you write ALC by LW, it will always measure what? Opportunity cost of cheese. And if I take inverse of it, then that will become opportunity cost of wine. Clear है? अब कुछ नहीं करना, जैसे हमने होम कंट्री के लिए कैलकुलेट कर रखा है, सिमिलरली वी कैन कैलकुलेट इट फॉर फॉरेन कंट्री. और फॉरेन कंट्री में जस्ट ALC वहाँ पे स्टार लगाते जाओगे आप, जो भी नंबर्स होंगे. तो मैंने अगर ALC स्टार लिख दिया, LW स्टार लिख रहेगा, तो वो फॉरेन कंट्री का इन्फॉर्मेशन हो जाएगा. So if I say ALC star by ALW star, so that will measure what? What was the ALC by LW? Opportunity cost of cheese in home country. So ALC star by LW star will measure opportunity cost of cheese in the foreign country. तो चीज़ का opportunity cost दोनों कंट्री में कैलकुलेट कर लेंगे, और which country will produce cheese? जहाँ opportunity cost कम होगा, because that country will have comparative cost advantage. उस कंट्री के पास हमारा कंपैरेटिव कॉस्ट एडवांटेज होगा. तो कंपैरेटिव कॉस्ट एडवांटेज विल बी कैलकुलेटेड बाय टेकिंग द रेशियो ऑफ ALC बाय ALW. ठीक है, ऐसे आप दोनों ही तरीके से एक्सप्लेन करेंगे. विल शो दैट्स इन इफ इट इज आस्क्ड इन टर्म्स ऑफ न्यूमेरिकल, यू कैन सॉल्व इट, एंड देयर इज अ डिफरेंस, रिमेंबर. ठीक है, जो क्वेश्चन आएगा देन इट विल बिकम क्लियर. इंफॉर्मेशन मे बी गिवन इन अ डिफरेंट फॉर्म ऑल्सो. यहाँ पे इंफॉर्मेशन क्या गिवन है? these 4 and 6 are hour. That means to produce 1 unit you are taking this much hour. Alternate क्या हो सकता था? In 1 hour how many unit can be produced by the labor? That means if I say that in 1 hour labor can produce 4 unit of cheese, तो उसका मतलब अलग हो गया. और यहाँ पे क्या बोल रहे हैं? To produce 1 unit of cheese you are taking 4 hours. ठीक है, फर्स्ट एक्सप्लेन इन दिस वे. बुक वगैरह में ऐसे एक्सप्लेन्ड है, बट पेपर के अंदर जो क्वेश्चन आ रखा है उसमें इंफॉर्मेशन अपोजिट गिवन है. सो यू हैव टू अप्लाई द कंसेप्ट. कंसेप्ट मालूम होना चाहिए, बट यू मस्ट बी इन अ सिचुएशन टू अप्लाई द कंसेप्ट. दैट मीन्स इफ इट इज नॉट गिवन इन द सेम मैनर, इफ इट इज गिवन इन द डिफरेंट मैनर. सो फर्स्ट राइट डाउन द मेन कंटेंट, मेन आइडिया ऑफ द मॉडल, देन द क्वेश्चन. राइट इन फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ. फिर comparative cost advantage theory, comparative cost advantage theory, comparative cost advantage theory has been formulated by Ricardo. Comparative cost advantage theory has been formulated by Ricardo. So this model of international trade, this model of international trade is also referred as 2/2/1 model, is also referred as 2/2/1 model. So according to this theory, a country has comparative advantage. According to this theory, a country has comparative advantage in producing a good. A country has comparative advantage in producing a good if opportunity cost of producing that good, if opportunity cost of producing that good, opportunity cost of producing that good in terms of other good, is lower in that country, is lower in that country, is lower in that country as compared to other country, as compared to other country, as compared to other country. Just underline that. According to this theory, a country has comparative advantage in producing a good if opportunity cost of producing that good in terms of other good is lower in that country as compared to other country. So this approach in which international trade is arising due to, this approach in which international trade is arising due to, difference in productivity of labor, arising due to difference in productivity of labor, difference in productivity of labor is known as a Ricardian model of international trade, is known as Ricardian model of international trade, a Ricardian model of international trade. Next paragraph. ठीक है, तो any question on the Ricardian model, this is the first paragraph that you can quote any time. ठीक है, what is the main idea of the model has been explained in this paragraph. Now you are elaborating it. Next paragraph. In this model, production possibility frontier (PPF). In this model, production possibility frontier is a straight line. Is a straight line. Due to constant opportunity cost. Due to constant opportunity cost. ध्यान देना, यहाँ पे जो अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट है ये कांस्टेंट नंबर आ रहा है, इट इज 2/3 1/3 कोई एक नंबर कांस्टेंट है, एंड दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट एक्चुअली मेजर व्हाट, तो स्लोप कांस्टेंट होने का मतलब लाइन मस्ट बी स्ट्रेट. अगर वो नॉन लीनियर होगा तो स्लोप हर पॉइंट का डिफरेंट होगा, विच विल हैपन इन दी एचओ मॉडल. सो इन दी एचओ मॉडल इट विल नॉट बी स्ट्रेट, बट व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन एचओ एंड द रिकार्डियन? In that HO model there will be two factor production, and here it is only. So whenever you have only one factor production, it will become a straight line, and when there will be two factor production, then it will become a concave. So we'll explain why it will become concave in the HO model later on. In this model, product PPF is a straight line due to constant opportunity cost. So slope of PPF measures, opportunity cost. Slope of PPF measures opportunity cost, that is cost of one good, that is cost of one good in terms of other good, cost of one good in terms of other good, and it is measured by ratio of, and it is measured by ratio of, it is measured by ratio of unit labor requirement, ratio of unit labor requirement, ratio of unit labor requirement, that is ALC by ALW, ALC by ALW, which measures opportunity cost of cheese, which measures opportunity cost of cheese, which measures opportunity cost of cheese. Now see this example first. Suppose for a home country I am giving you some information as well as for the foreign country. In home country, ALC is 6 hour. In foreign country, ALC star is 4 hour. It means what? To produce cheese in home country, it will take 6 hour, and to produce 1 unit of cheese in foreign country, it will take. So which country has advantage? Foreign country can produce same quantity in less time, so foreign country has advantage. This is absolute cost advantage, क्योंकि हमने भी सेकेंड प्रोडक्ट को रेफर ही नहीं किया. We are discussing only one product. So based upon this, you are saying that foreign country has absolute cost advantage because foreign country can produce cheese in less time. See the other number. ALW is 4 hour and ALW star is 1 hour. So if you are observing only wine, again in the wine, which country has advantage? Foreign country has advantage. So that means you are saying that foreign country has absolute advantage in cheese as well as in. So can trade take place? दोनों में एडवांटेज फॉरेन कंट्री के पास ही है, तो क्या फॉरेन कंट्री को कोई एडवांटेज होगा ट्रेड करने से? बेस्ड अपॉन एब्सोल्यूट कॉस्ट एडवांटेज द आंसर इज नो, बट इफ यू अप्लाई द कंपैरेटिव कॉस्ट एडवांटेज देन द आंसर इज यस. स्टिल देयर इज एडवांटेज, and the advantage is basically arising due to difference in comparative cost advantage. But how we measure the comparative cost advantage? We measure comparative cost by measuring the opportunity cost. So we measure the opportunity cost. So how to measure the opportunity cost? Calculate here opportunity cost of cheese. So what will be opportunity cost of cheese here? ALC by LW. So that will be 6 by 4. Calculate opportunity cost of cheese in foreign country. Opportunity cost of cheese in foreign country, what is the number? Home country में ये 1.5 हो गया, foreign country में it is 4:1, 4. So if you have calculated opportunity cost of cheese, similarly you can calculate opportunity cost of wine. वाइन के लिए नंबर क्या हो जाएगा? जस्ट इनवर्स ऑफ इट. सो इफ इट इज 6 by 4 देन इट विल बी 4 by 6, दैट इज 2 by 3. एंड व्हाट इज अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट इन फॉरेन कंट्री? फॉरेन कंट्री में इट विल बी 1 by 4. ठीक है, तो अब आप ये बताओ अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट ऑफ चीज इज लेस इन विच कंट्री? अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट ऑफ चीज इज लेस इन द होम कंट्री. The home country has comparative advantage in cheese, although home country has absolute disadvantage in both. दोनों में disadvantage था, but उसका comparative advantage cheese में है. और foreign country का advantage wine के लिए ये 2/3 है, that is 0.66 and that is 0.25. So foreign country has advantage in. Naturally अगर आपने opportunity cost निकाल रखा, कोई भी नंबर है, अगर हम उसका इन्वर्स कर लेंगे तो इनइक्वालिटी क्या हो जाएगी? बदल जाएगी. इफ एनी नंबर इज देयर 4, 6 greater than 4, but if you take inverse then inequality will always change. So if in one line of production home country will have comparative advantage, then naturally in the other line of production foreign country will have comparative cost advantage. So trade will always arise. Trade will always arise even if one country has absolute advantage in all line of production. तो एब्सोल्यूट का एडवांटेज के बेसिस पे ट्रेड नहीं हो रहा है. ट्रेड इज हैपनिंग मेनली बिकॉज ऑफ कंपैरेटिव कॉस्ट एडवांटेज. यू कैन यूज दिस एग्जांपल टू एक्सप्लेन दैट पार्ट. नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ में ठीक है, एग्जांपल रिलेट करोगे अभी. जस्ट आई विल शो द पेपर के अंदर जो क्वेश्चन आ रखा है. जस्ट राइट अ पैराग्राफ बिलो दैट. इन द अबव एग्जांपल foreign country has, in the above example foreign country has absolute cost advantage. Foreign country has absolute cost advantage in the production of both goods. Foreign country has absolute cost advantage in the production of both goods because labor productivity is more. Labor productivity is more in foreign country. Labor productivity is more in foreign country. Is more in foreign country. However, according to comparative cost advantage, based on opportunity cost, home country has comparative advantage in production of cheese. Because opportunity cost of cheese is less in home country. Opportunity cost of cheese is less in home country. On the other hand, foreign country has comparative advantage. Foreign country has comparative advantage in production of wine. As opportunity cost is less in that country. Let's attempt a past year question. This one, 62. ठीक है, I will show for the economics part as well. Similar question वहाँ भी economics है उसमें. ऐसे question numerical के format में देखिए. What is different here? First part करें, explain the condition under which complete specialization will be possible for two nations in the case of comparative advantage. I will explain what is the meaning of complete specialization. Right now just focus on this numerical part. It says suppose productivity per unit of labor in two countries, India and UK, is given as productivity per unit of labor in India and UK is given as India में wheat के लिए 6 और UK में, ठीक है, इसको रीड आप ऐसे करोगे. This information is for India and this is for UK. In India it is 6 and 4, but point is that ये जो 6, 3, 4 या 2 जो number है, is it the same thing that you have written ALC, LW? Is it the hour? Information क्या है? Wheat in terms of kg per hour given है, मतलब in 1 hour how many quantity will be produced, and what you have written is to produce 1 unit how much time it will take. So it is not exactly ALC. क्लियर? ये एग्जैक्टली एलसी नहीं है, तो सेम थिंग को अप्लाई नहीं करना है. जस्ट ब्रीफली आप ये इंफॉर्मेशन कॉपी कर लो. वीट पर आवर एंड क्लॉथ इन टर्म्स ऑफ पर मैन आवर. इंडिया में 6 और 4 है, यूके में 3 और 2 है. और क्वेश्चन कह रहा है विल म्यूचुअली बेनिफिशियल ट्रेड बी पॉसिबल इफ between two nations? If yes, explain whether the specialization shall be complete or not. Easy है, क्वेश्चन में डिफिकल्टी नहीं है. Now, since information is not given in terms of the man, in terms of the unit labor requirement plus total labor hour कितना है वो भी given नहीं है. It simply says to produce this unit, this much time will be taken. So I am writing that information as इंडिया और यूके के लिए. इनफैक्ट ये यूनिट गिवन है, wheat और cloth in terms of the unit. So it is 6 and 4 and here it is 3 and 2. कुछ नहीं करना है, just first of all draw PPC for India. So what are the options available for India? India can produce, देखो आप कोई भी प्रोडक्ट आप एक्स एक्सेस पे ले सकते हो, you can take any product, but just make a habit whatever is written first, take it on the x axis. आप अपोजिट करोगे तो भी आंसर आपका वही आएगा. तो बट हम पहला प्रोडक्ट यू आर राइटिंग हियर wheat and then cloth. You can take the other way around also, but the answer will come out to be same. बट हमेशा याद रखोगे अगर मैंने यहाँ wheat लिखा है तो लाइन का स्लोप क्या मेजर करेगा? अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट ऑफ wheat. और अगर यहाँ cloth लिखा हो तो that will measure opportunity cost of cloth. So if I write here wheat and cloth, so either India can produce 6 unit of wheat or 4 unit of cloth. Directly वो नंबर डाल दीजिएगा and then connected with a straight line. Do it for UK as well. Wheat and cloth. Here it is 3 and 2. Then find a slope of both. So what is slope here? 4 by 6, that is 2 by 3, and here also slope is 2 by 3. And what does slope calculate? Slope calculate opportunity cost of wheat. So what is opportunity cost of wheat here? 2 by 3, and here also opportunity cost of wheat is 2 by 3. So since opportunity cost is same in both countries, therefore no mutually beneficial trade can happen. Trade arises mainly due to difference in opportunity cost. अगर opportunity cost same है तो trade से कोई benefit नहीं होगा. So that will be the one line answer. Since opportunity cost is same in both countries, therefore no mutually beneficial trade is possible. Write down that line. Since opportunity cost is same in both countries, opportunity cost is same in both countries, so no mutually beneficial trade, no mutually beneficial trade is possible. No mutually beneficial trade is possible. ठीक है, तो information was given in a different form. That was the one numerical in the optional part. This is a question in IES. ठीक है, दूसरा past year question कर लीजिए. This for economic service 2018. Read that question. The following table provides productivity of two countries, India and Bangladesh, in terms of production of paddy and textile. Since India appears to enjoy more efficiency in the production of paddy and textile, repeat or align, do you think that trade is not beneficial between two countries? What is the information given here? Output per unit of labor. It means ये information hour नहीं है, these are again आउटपुट है, 1 घंटे में कितना प्रोड्यूस करें, दैट इन्फॉर्मेशन इज गिवन। बुक में यूजुअली जो डिस्क्रिप्शन है वो किस टर्म में गिवन है, आवर के टर्म में। टू प्रोड्यूस 1 यूनिट हाउ मच टाइम इट टेक, एंड हियर इट इज गिवन एज इन 1 आवर हाउ मेनी क्वांटिटी विल बी प्रोड्यूस। तो सिमिलर क्वेश्चन है, since no information about the total is given, so you can simply draw the production possibility curve for India and Bangladesh. You can solve it here. Suppose if I draw it for India, ठीक है, इंफॉर्मेशन कॉपी कर लेंगे, पहले ईयर मेंशन कर लोगे बिकॉज अलॉन्ग विद द क्लास आप पास्ट ईयर का पेपर भी अटेम्प्ट करें। रिमेंबर इट इज नॉट दैट कि कंटेंट ओवर होगा देन यू विल बी रेफरिंग टू द पास्ट ईयर क्वेश्चन। पास्ट ईयर क्वेश्चन विल बी रेफर्ड इन एवरी लेक्चर, and you in every lecture about 3-4 question will be taking up, so that over a period of time वो पास्ट ईयर का क्वेश्चन क्लास के अंदर सॉल्व हो जाना चाहिए। एंड our other thing is that you must be relating everything with the question, कि जो कंटेंट क्लास में हो रहा है वो क्वेश्चन पेपर में किस फॉर्मेट में आता है। सो फॉर इंडिया एंड राइट साइड यू कैन यूज इट फॉर पैडी और टेक्सटाइल। ठीक है, इंडिया के लिए इंटरसेप्ट क्या लेना है आप, 4 और 8, ठीक है। दैट इंफॉर्मेशन हैव टू सिंपली प्लॉट इट, and for Bangladesh it is 1 and 6. We have to write here 6 and take 1. वहाँ प्रेजेंट करते समय क्या करोगे आप, वहाँ पहले उसको पहले फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल प्लॉट दैट, बिलो दैट राइट डाउन द स्लोप। सो व्हाट इज स्लोप हियर, स्लोप इज 8/4, स्लोप इज 2, and what does slope measure, opportunity cost of paddy in India, and here what is slope, 6, opportunity cost of paddy in Bangladesh. So obviously India has comparative cost advantage in producing paddy, and if you take the inverse, that inverse will measure the opportunity cost of textile. So here it will become 1/2 और वो नंबर हो जाएगा 1/6, so that 1/6 will become less. In examination what you will do, draw the PPF, right, calculate the slope and just draw a table there. अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट का एक टेबल ड्रॉ कर लेंगे। अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट का टेबल ड्रॉ करते समय यू कैन राइट पैडी एंड टेक्सटाइल, और यहाँ कंट्री का नाम लिख दिए इंडिया और बांग्लादेश। प्रॉपरली एक टेबल ड्रॉ कर लेंगे। पैडी के लिए यहाँ पे स्लोप आ गया 2, हियर इट इज 6, और नेक्स्ट नंबर में यहाँ लिख दोगे 1/2। नो, इंडिया के लिए आपको पहले यहाँ 2 लेना है, पैडी के लिए लिखना है ना, तो ये नंबर यहाँ नहीं लिखना है, प्रोडक्ट वाइज लिखोगे पहले। सो फॉर पैडी स्लोप 2 इज मेजरिंग द अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट ऑफ पैडी इन इंडिया, and that slope 6 is measuring opportunity cost of paddy in Bangladesh. तो product wise ये 2 आएगा और यहाँ 6 आएगा, and then 1/2 and 1/6, ठीक है। and then what is the conclusion, what you will conclude here, what you will write in the statement, since opportunity cost of paddy in India is less, therefore India has comparative advantage in producing paddy. You have to write that, just write down the conclusion. Since opportunity cost of paddy in India is less, since opportunity cost of paddy in India is less, so India has comparative cost advantage So India has competitive cost advantage in producing paddy. In producing paddy. On the other end, opportunity cost for textile is less in Bangladesh, so comparative cost advantage lies with Bangladesh for producing textile. फर्दर वहाँ पे स्टेटमेंट होता है कि व्हाट इज द पैटर्न ऑफ ट्रेड. व्हाट इज द पैटर्न ऑफ ट्रेड हियर, विच कंट्री विल एक्सपोर्ट व्हाट, जिसका कंपैरेटिव, इफ इंडिया हैज कंपैरेटिव एडवांटेज इन पैडी, इंडिया विल प्रोड्यूस ओनली पैडी. दैट इज कॉल्ड कंप्लीट स्पेशलाइजेशन. यू आर नॉट प्रोड्यूसिंग बोथ प्रोडक्ट, यू आर प्रोड्यूसिंग ओनली वन प्रोडक्ट, ओनली पैडी. ये कंप्लीट स्पेशलाइजेशन. व्हेन यू प्रोड्यूस बोथ प्रोडक्ट देन इट इज इनकम्प्लीट. When you are producing only one product, it is complete. So what is the pattern of trade here? India is specializing in paddy, so India will export paddy in exchange for textile. Right on that next paragraph में. Since India will produce only paddy, so it is complete specialization. Therefore the pattern of trade is that India will specialize and export. Paddy in exchange for textile. ठीक है. तो अब अगर आप इफ यू आर सीइंग बोथ पेपर्स, सिविल सर्विस वाले ऑप्शनल का पेपर भी देख रहे हो और ये पेपर भी देख रहे हो, तो वो क्वेश्चन इनफैक्ट पहले पूछा गया एक और सिविल सर्विस में. तो आपने एक क्वेश्चन अगर कर रखा तो बेस्ड अपॉन दैट सेकंड क्वेश्चन आपको बस नंबर चेंज है, प्रोडक्ट चेंज है. एंड दिस एन इजी क्वेश्चन. यहाँ पे कोई मैथमेटिकल टूल नहीं इन्वॉल्व हो रहा है. इट्स नॉट अ मैथमेटिकल क्वेश्चन. न्यूमेरिकल है बट इज नॉट इम्प्लाइंग सम कैलकुलेशन बेस्ड डिफरेंशिएशन इंटीग्रेशन यूज नहीं कर रहे हो आप. प्योर बेसिक सिंपल कंसेप्ट अप्लाई करना है कि व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ स्लोप एंड हाउ टू कैलकुलेट इट, व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट एंड हाउ टू कैलकुलेट इट. तो फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ दैट क्वेश्चन, आई थिंक ओनली वन क्वेश्चन हैज बीन आस्क्ड सो फार इन बोथ पेपर्स. ऑप्शनल के अंदर भी एक बार आ रखा पास्ट ईयर में और इकोनॉमिक सर्विस में भी एक बार आ रखा है. इफ यू सी द पॉल क्रूगमैन बुक, चैप्टर के एंड में कुछ सम इंफॉर्मेशंस आर गिवन. आई हैव यूज्ड दैट इंफॉर्मेशन इन द एग्जांपल. So that means some values are given. So there are two ways in which question can be asked. One, जो पूछा गया, but this is basically output per unit of labor. And what is the other way? जो आपने start में लिखा है. It could be given in terms of the hour. So if it is given in terms of the hour, then you know how to measure it and calculate it. This is basically in terms of the hour. So information could be given in this form also. ठीक है, ये दो different form होते हैं क्वेश्चन के. Clear है? तो प्रेफरेबली आप ये दोनों क्वेश्चन इसलिए आप पैरेलल रेफर करते रहोगे. एंड आई विल बी शोइंग बोथ क्वेश्चन इन द क्लास. नाउ सिंस दिस मॉडल हैज टू बी एक्सप्लेन और इलैबोरेटेड फर्दर, नाउ कम टू दिस टॉपिक अगेन. सपोज अगेन आई एम रेफरिंग टू ओनली होम कंट्री. होम कंट्री को यूज़ करेंगे, वैसे जनरलाइज कर लेंगे फॉर फॉरेन कंट्री की फॉरेन कंट्री में वैसे होगा. नाउ इफ इट इज़ यूज फॉर द होम कंट्री हैज़ ओनली वन फैक्टर ऑफ प्रोडक्शन and that factor of production is labor. Remember, labor is free to move from one industry to another industry, but labor cannot move from one country to another country. Labor की mobility perfect होगी within the economy, but it is not mobile between the countries. There are certain assumptions of the model. So what are the assumptions of the Ricardian model? First, it starts with a 2 by 2 by 1. We are discussing two countries, two product, one factor production. Part of old theory है, so it is assuming perfect competition. Perfect competition है तो product homogeneous होगा फिर. All those assumptions are there. Labor is free to move from one industry to another industry, but labor cannot move from one country to the other country. Between two countries, there will be only trade of goods, not flow of the labor. So if home country has labor and that labor is free to move between cheese and wine, then the question is in which sector labor will go. Labor is free to move, so in which sector labor will prefer to work? That sector which will pay a higher wage. So then question comes, what will be the wage in the cheese and what will be the wage in wine? हम ज़रा ध्यान देंगे यहाँ पे. Since it is assuming that entire old theory assume that market is perfectly competitive. Now perfect competition का एक प्रॉपर्टी ये भी होता है कि वर्कर को जो वेज मिलेगा वो उसकी प्रोडक्टिविटी के अकॉर्डिंगली मिलेगा. वर्कर्स विल बी पेड अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर प्रोडक्टिविटी. प्रोडक्टिविटी मतलब हाउ मच क्वांटिटी यू प्रोड्यूस इन 1 आवर, दैट इज योर प्रोडक्टिविटी. बट वेज हैज़ टू बी गिवन इन टर्म्स ऑफ मनी. तो हम उस मार्जिनल प्रोडक्ट का वैल्यू कैलकुलेट कर लेते हैं, विच इज टेक्निकली कॉल्ड एज वैल्यू ऑफ मार्जिनल प्रोडक्ट. तो वर्कर को वेज किसके बराबर मिलना है? अकॉर्डिंग टू द वैल्यू ऑफ मार्जिनल प्रोडक्ट. नाउ व्हाट इज द वैल्यू ऑफ मार्जिनल प्रोडक्ट? व्हाट इज मार्जिनल प्रोडक्ट हियर? वैल्यू के लिए तो सिंपल है, प्राइस से मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे टू गेट वैल्यू. बट व्हाट इज मार्जिनल प्रोडक्ट हियर? इफ आई से दिस, जस्ट कंसीडर दिस एग्जांपल. ALC was stated as 4 hours. It means what? To produce 1 unit, it will take 4 hours. So in 1 hour, 1 by 4 unit can be produced. और 1 घंटे में जो प्रोड्यूस करेंगे, that will be called as marginal product. Marginal product of labor is how much quantity you produce in 1 hour. So when you calculate value of marginal product, it is price of product multiplied by marginal product. So in place of marginal product, what you will write? What is marginal product? Is it ALC or 1 by LC? 1 by LC. Again I repeat, ALC is unit labor requirement. To produce 1 unit, it will take 4 hours. So in 1 hour you can produce 1 by 4, and in 1 hour whatever you can produce will be called as marginal product. So in place of marginal product, I will write 1 by ALC, and then it will be multiplied by the price. Price of what? प्राइस ऑफ जिस प्रोडक्ट की बात हो रही है, प्राइस ऑफ द चीज, तो इट विल बी PC. सो वेज इज एक्चुअली इक्वल टू विच नंबर? इट इज PC अपॉन ALC. वर्कर्स विल बी पेड वेज इन द चीज सेक्टर इक्वल टू PC by ALC. कैन यू कैलकुलेट सिमिलरली फॉर द वाइन? Similarly for the wine also you will write wage is equal to value of marginal product, which is price into marginal product. Now it will be price of wine into what? 1 upon ALW. So that will become PW upon ALW. ठीक है? जहाँ द बेसिक इन्वॉल्व होगा, आई विल जस्ट एलैबोरेट दैट बेसिक पार्ट, देन यू कैन जस्ट फॉलो दैट पार्ट. Okay, since it is an old model, it is assuming perfect competition. Therefore, under perfect competition, workers are paid wage equal to value of marginal product. And what is value? To get value, you multiply the marginal product with the price. And what is marginal product? How much quantity you produce in 1 hour. So in 1 hour you will produce 1 by ALC multiplied by price. So PC by ALC is wage in cheese and PW by ALW is wage in wine. यहाँ तक clear है? Now I am creating 3 possibilities. If number 1, consider 3 possibilities here. First, if I say that PC upon ALC is greater than PW upon ALW, it means what? What is this number PC by ALC? This is wage in cheese. And what is this number wage in? So if I consider that this is greater, it means wage in. So if wage in cheese is more, then all labor will go to cheese industry. Country will produce only cheese. So if this is the condition, in that case country will produce only cheese. Write on that. Only cheese. Country will produce only cheese. You can write the same thing in this way also. PC upon PW greater than ALC by ALW. Can it be written in this form? In PW यहाँ लिख दीजिए, ALC यहाँ लिख दीजिए. Same equation है. Now what is this number? ध्यान देंगे अब जरा. You are coming to the first concept. What is this number? What is ALC by ALW? ALC by ALW was nothing but opportunity cost of cheese. And what is PC by PW? Relative price of cheese. So country will produce only cheese in which condition? Country will produce only cheese in which condition? When relative price of cheese is greater than opportunity cost of producing cheese. That will be the first principle of the Ricardian model. Country will specialize only in cheese if relative price of cheese is greater than opportunity cost of producing cheese. But I have written if this condition. Now what could be the alternate? Alternate could be PC upon ALC is less than PW by ALW, which could be written as PC by PW less than ALC upon ALW. In that case country will produce only wine. Clear? Only wine. Remember, country can specialize in only cheese or only wine if they are trading. If one country is trading with the other country, then what home country can do? Home country can produce only cheese, export the surplus cheese and in exchange get the wine. But if country is not trading with other country, then अगर होम कंट्री दूसरे कंट्री के साथ ट्रेड ना करे, then उस कंडीशन को कहते हैं ऑटर्की कंडीशन, कंट्री इन आइसोलेशन. So if a country is isolated, then that country must produce both product. So when country can produce both product, only when labor will go to both sector, and when labor will go to both sector, only when wages are equal, which means without trade this PC by PW must be equal to what? ALC by LW. Without trade this PC by PW must be equal to ALC by LW. That is the third condition. ट्रेड से पहले का प्राइस आपको मालूम है कि विदाउट द ट्रेड, दिस इज थर्ड पॉसिबिलिटी, PC upon PW must be equal to ALC upon ALW. In that case country can produce both goods. Country can produce both goods. This is also referred as autarky condition या autarky price. Autarky means country in isolation. Country in isolation. So prices without trade will always be equal to opportunity cost. Now just relate, you have written these 3 points. ठीक है, 3 पॉसिबिलिटीज है. आई एम नॉट सेइंग व्हाट विल बी द एक्चुअल पॉसिबिलिटी. दीज आर द 3 डिफरेंट पॉसिबिलिटीज. नाउ आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन फर्स्ट. Suppose if I say that home country and foreign country, they are not trading. Home country and foreign country. What will be price before trade? Without trade price क्या होगा home country का? Without trade means a country must produce both goods. Country can produce both goods only when price is equal to opportunity cost. So without trade, this PC upon PW must be equal to which number? ALC upon ALW. Similarly, in the foreign country also, before trade, the PC by PW must be equal to which number? ALC star upon ALW star. अब आप ये बताओ क्या ये दोनों नंबर सेम है? This number and this number, is it same number? This is opportunity cost of cheese in home country. This is opportunity cost of cheese in, and those opportunity costs are different, which means prices before trade are different. ट्रेड से पहले प्राइस अलग होंगे. प्राइसेस ट्रेड से पहले डिफरेंट होते हैं तभी तो ट्रेड होता है. अगर पहले से ही प्राइस सेम होंगे देन देयर इज नो पर्पस ऑफ ट्रेड. बिफोर ट्रेड प्राइसेस आर डिफरेंट बिकॉज अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट आर डिफरेंट. अब डिफरेंट में ये कोई भी पॉसिबिलिटी हो सकती है. आइदर दिस नंबर कुड बी ग्रेटर और द अदर नंबर कुड बी ग्रेटर. नाउ इफ आई सिंपली कंसीडर दैट, सपोज अगर मैं कहूँ कि PC बाय PW की जो वैल्यू है, जो फॉरेन कंट्री की वैल्यू है, ये ग्रेटर है. ध्यान देना इस पर. If I say that this number is greater, so what will happen? What is the trade then? ट्रेड से पहले तो प्राइसेस ALC by LW के बराबर होगा, यहाँ पे होगा, और ये नंबर यहाँ पे होगा. अब मैं कह रहा हूँ ये नंबर ग्रेटर है, मतलब फॉरेन कंट्री में रिलेटिव प्राइस ज़्यादा है और होम कंट्री में. सो व्हाट विल बी द बिहेवियर ऑफ होम कंट्री चीज प्रोड्यूसर? If trade will become free, you can explain to the foreign country, foreign seller buyers. In foreign country you get a higher price, so home country producer will prefer to export. They will prefer to export cheese. They will prefer to sell their cheese in the foreign country because they will get a higher price by selling that cheese in the foreign country. But अगर home country will export more cheese, supply of cheese in foreign country will increase and their availability in home country will decrease. तो जैसे यहाँ पे अवेलेबिलिटी कम होने लगेगी, चीज़ का प्राइस इंक्रीज होना स्टार्ट हो जाएगा और फॉरेन कंट्री में चीज़ का प्राइस, और ये चेंज कब तक होते रहेंगे? जब तक ये इक्वल नहीं हो जाते. ट्रेड विल इक्वलाइज द प्राइस. ट्रेड से प्राइस इक्वल होंगे. ट्रेड विल कंटिन्यू टू हैपन सो दैट प्राइस विल बिकम इक्वल. दैट विल बेसिकली द पैटर्न ऑफ ट्रेड हियर. Without trade prices are different. After trade price will become same. But what will be the same price? We have to determine it. और वो डिटरमाइन करने के लिए अब आपको चाहिए सप्लाई कब और डिमांड कब. प्राइस का डिटर्मिनेशन करना है तो प्राइस डिटरमाइन करने के लिए व्हाट वी नीड? डिमांड एंड सप्लाई. बट अगेन आई कम टू द सेम क्वेश्चन, इज इट द एब्सोल्यूट डिमांड और द रिलेटिव डिमांड? दो प्रोडक्ट है यहाँ पे. एक्सेस पे मार्क करोगे तो दो प्रोडक्ट मार्क करने हैं. They have to derive what? Relative supply and relative demand. ठीक है, up to this is clear. Prices without trade are different. After trade they will become same, but at what level they will become same we have to determine it. So that will be the determination of the relative price. But up to this, आज तक के लिए यहाँ तक का कंटेंट लिख लीजिएगा. You have written this part. I am just mentioning what you have written here. ठीक है, you can refer to this in chapter, I think Paul Krugman में chapter number 3 है, Ricardian model. But same example है, same symbol है. If you want to read it, those who are in the foundation, but they can refer it in detail. You have enough time. Otherwise, what you have written here is good enough. Just follow that, repeat it again and again, write it again and again and try to learn that notes. ठीक है, जो बुक में रेलिवेंट पार्ट है वो सब कुछ आपके नोटबुक में आ रहा है. Read down. In the absence of trade, in the absence of trade, in the absence of trade, country must produce both goods on its own. In the absence of trade, country must produce both goods on its own. Country must produce both goods on its own. For that purpose, it is required that, a relative price of goods, for that purpose it is required that relative price of goods must be equal to opportunity cost of producing that good. Opportunity cost of producing that good. However, in the presence of trade, country may produce only one product. If relative price of that product is greater than opportunity cost of producing that good. For example, if relative price of cheese is greater than opportunity cost of producing cheese, if relative price of cheese is greater than opportunity cost of producing cheese. इस लाइन का मतलब ये इक्वेशन है. इफ रिलेटिव प्राइस ऑफ चीज इज ग्रेटर देन अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोड्यूसिंग चीज. बट ये ग्रेटर होने का मतलब क्या होता है? ये भी होता है कि वर्कर को वेज चीज में ज़्यादा मिल रहा है और वाइन में कम मिल रहा है. देयरफॉर ऑल लेबर विल गो टू प्रोड्यूस चीज. सो दिस इंफॉर्मेशन इज ओनली रेलिवेंट टू अप्लाई. उसका और डिस्क्रिप्शन नहीं है, मतलब आपको वो एक्सप्लेन नहीं करना है. यू हैव टू जस्ट अप्लाई दैट कंसेप्ट इन दिस फॉर्म. If you are saying that relative price of cheese is greater than opportunity cost of cheese, it means workers are paid more wage in the cheese as compared to wine. If relative price of cheese is greater than opportunity cost of producing cheese, then country will produce only cheese. But when relative price of cheese is less, then opportunity cost of cheese less than opportunity cost of cheese, then country will produce only wine. Just explain this example now. Next paragraph. Suppose that before trade suppose that before trade relative price of cheese is less. Suppose that before trade relative price of cheese is less in home country. Relative price of cheese is less in home country and more in foreign country. Full stop. In that situation, home country will specialize in cheese. In that situation, home country will specialize in cheese. And it will export cheese. In fact, it will export enough cheese so that relative price will converge after trade. Relative price will converge, that means they will become equal or same. Relative price will converge after trade. Next paragraph. After trade, relative price is determined by intersection of relative supply and relative demand curve. Intersection of relative supply and relative demand curve. Okay, so how it will be determined by the relative supply and relative demand, that we have to explain further. कि what will be the shape of ये conventional जैसे supply का बनाते वैसा नहीं बनना है. It will be quite different. That means when you draw the relative supply and relative demand curve, relative supply will be basically formed like in this step like manner बनेगा. Why the shape is like this, we have to elaborate when we explain the relative supply and relative demand part. So remember, the prices are determined by the intersection of relative supply and relative demand. How to derive the relative supply we have to explain, and how to derive the relative demand. Okay. So up to this basically you have written in this first lecture. So just recap this what you have written in. We are basically studying the old theories right now, and in the old theory it is the first model, Ricardian model. See, in the Ricardian model we are studying 2 by 2 by 1 model. So 2 by 2 by 1 model में क्या होता है, if there are two product में easy है. If क्लॉथ का या चीज़ का अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट होम कंट्री में कम होगा तो फॉरेन का अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट वाइन में कम हो जाएगा. बिकॉज वेन्स यू आर टेकिंग टू नंबर, कॉस्ट ऑफ चीज़ इन टर्म्स ऑफ वाइन या कॉस्ट ऑफ वाइन इन टर्म्स ऑफ चीज़ हो जाता है. बट इसे नेक्स्ट क्लास में वी विल जनरलाइज इट. जनरलाइजेशन मीन्स वी विल टेक इट टू 2 बाई n into 1. 2 countries producing n number of goods. Country could be producing apple, banana, cherry and so on. तो अगर आपने एप्पल प्रोड्यूस किया तो व्हाट इज अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट ऑफ एप्पल देन? 2 प्रोडक्ट में तो इजी है. अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट ऑफ 1 in terms of the other, because there is only one other product. But if there are 5, then opportunity cost of cheese will be explained in terms of all other goods. So out of 10 product, how many product will be produced by home country? How many product will be produced by foreign country? Then you have to apply that concept. This is the application part. So usually the model for Ricardian model is 2 by 2 by 1, but it can be generalized for multiple good model also. ठीक है, not asked so far in the paper, but Ricardian model आता है तो हम ये explain करते हैं. But if the question says that explain the Ricardian model by taking n number of goods for multiple product, देन वी हैव टू ऐड दैट पार्ट. सो आर एस रिलेटिव सप्लाई रिलेटिव डिमांड का आर्गूमेंट आना है और मल्टीपल वो का कंसेप्ट होगा रिकॉर्डेड मॉडल में. देन वी विल मूव टू दी एच मॉडल. फिर वहाँ पे आपके कंटेंट ज़्यादा हो जाते हैं.